Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off quickly talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Panda3DS, and we've got a bit of a progress update. So this is a tweet today right from Panda3DS, and they say generating cheat menus and game-specific UI widgets with LUA scripts. Action replay cheats are cool, but they don't hold a candle to this. So if we take a look at the bottom right hand corner of the image, there's a box here. It says rupee count, and there appears to be a slider. It's set to 126. And in-game is reflected as 126 rupees. This to me appears to function very similar to a trainer. And there's also a button here called Murder Link. I wonder what that does. Panda3DS then goes on to say, stay tuned for the next Panda3DS release. We've already got PRs that fix dozens of games by implementing new features, better performance, work on Vulkan rendering, and action replay cheat UI. And hopefully a better Android build. It's absolutely amazing to see Panda3DS improving in leaps and bounds. It's 100% free, it's open source, and I do recommend checking it out. I'll drop a link in the description below. Moving on, and we're talking about fellow YouTuber Bob Wulff, and Bob just posted a video you may want to check out if you're interested in gaming handhelds. It's about AYN, and specifically the AYN Loki Zero. It's more of a rant, but at the same time, there's a ton of great information in it. Now, Bob's video is not clickbait or anything. I'd argue quite the opposite. And he talks about his whole ordering experience with AYN and the over year-long process it took to get one of these devices. To me, this review is super informative in a whole bunch of different ways. He does talk about the product, he does talk about the company, and he does talk about his whole ordering process. And the ordering process alone is something I am super concerned about. He even mentions about this product on the side note here that it struggles to run a whole bunch of different games because it's so low powered. Bob even ends up putting Chimera OS on it and giving his opinions about that. And overall here, the price to performance ratio is something to keep in mind. Definitely check out that review. Next up, we're talking about PCXSense, which is a free and open source program that works with your DualSense controller on PC to help improve compatibility. It basically makes the computer see the DualSense controller as an X-input controller. So at the time of filming, PCXSense Beta version 0.6 just dropped. And this one adds in per game profile settings for the custom light bar color, custom trigger settings, and it activates automatically as soon as you open up the app. Now, it's worth pointing out that PCXSense is still in very early stages of development. I mean, the first release for this one came out about a month ago. So be patient with it, but it's shaping up great. Next up, we're quickly talking about Nintendo, and someone with a very keen eye noticed that Nintendo filed some trademarks in the UK this week. And if you take a look, it appears it's for the Gamecube controller. Now, because of this, there's been a whole bunch of speculation and a whole bunch of rumor, and who knows what's true. Some people are expecting Nintendo to launch a Gamecube Mini, skipping the N64 Mini. Some people are expecting GameCube titles on NSO, and some people are expecting Nintendo to launch a GameCube controller for NSO. Now, I'm showing this article specifically because it was brought up back in 2018 when Nintendo did something very similar. Nothing came of it. This might simply be Nintendo renewing trademarks or whatever they have to do. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Do you think there's something here? Do you think this is nothing? Next up, we're talking about limited run games, and we talked about them yesterday when they put up pre-sales for Shantae and the Pirate's Curse for the 3DS, which sold out almost immediately, and then surfaced on eBay by scalpers. Anyways, here, this is a brand new game that's being released on February 2nd. It's called Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore. If you're a fan of CDI games and the infamous CDI graphics, yeah, maybe a fan of this one. If I'm not mistaken, I think I just said it was releasing on February 2nd. I meant to say that pre-orders start on February 2nd, and the game is releasing on February 14th, Valentine's Day. This game is headed to Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. As far as I can tell, prices start at about $35 for a physical edition, and looking at Limited Run Games' website, there's a very hideous and scary controller. They're calling this one the retro-inspired Switch and PC controller for $35. It is USB, and I can tell you, it's not going to be fun to use. If for some reason you don't believe me, it's the remake of the original controller that was bundled with the CDI 450, and it's not a good controller. But who knows, maybe Limited Run worked some magic and made this controller a lot better than it used to be, but based on the design and ergonomics of it, I highly doubt it. Next up, this is a super quick one. If you've got Xbox Game Pass, you might be excited to know that Visions of Mana may be heading there. This is of course rumor right now, but a lot of people are saying it's confirmed. The game is set to be released in summer of 2024. We don't have a firm release date just yet, and there's a lot of time between now and then. Things may change here, but let me know your thoughts about Visions of Mana in the comments below. Moving on, and I've got another quick one for you. We're talking about Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and there appears to be a brand new Brazilian Portuguese translation for these games. There are 3 different ROM hacks in total, obviously one for Blue, one for Red, and one for Yellow. They were submitted back in November, and aside from translation, there's also some UI updates, and they also converted the Pokédex entries to metric. These are based on the US versions of the game. Next up, and I've got another quick one for you, and this is arguably not great news depending on who you talk to. We're talking about Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. This game is set to be released on February 2nd. And they've just added in Denuvo. If we take a look at this game's SteamDB page and scroll down just a little bit, it appears it was added on January 20th. And speaking about Denuvo, next up we're talking about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I keep wanting to call this game Sparkling Zero, but anyways here, this game does not have Denuvo just yet. I'm fully expecting it to get Denuvo, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, they just dropped a very impressive trailer for this game. I'll drop a link to this full trailer in the description below and feel free to check it out. There's one part of this trailer I really wanted to draw your attention to, and that's this character select screen. If we take a look here, there appears to be 164 playable characters. That's if there's 1 character per hexagon. And last up here, we're talking about arcadeEIP, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Arcade Emulator Integration Player, depending on how you want to interpret that. And arcadeEIP just got a brand new update. Now, for those who may be unaware, arcadeEIP is a front-end and launch tool designed specifically for arcade machines. It's 100% free and open source. So at the time of filming, version 0.4.1.0 beta is the latest update. And this update is pretty huge. There's a lot of new features and a lot of bug fixes. For example, a major change here is to drastically improve the ease of configuration and compatibility. They've also added the ability to manually save high scores. If you want to see it in action, I'll drop a link to a couple of videos in the description below and feel free to check them out. One of them also shows it working with the Elgato Stream Deck. Something like this might be pretty niche, but at the end of the day here, something like this is also pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your estate.